Hello and welcome to Robin's first day school video. We worked on some pretty basic things today, in my opinion. Some really low-key building engagement, seeing how he communicates, building a relationship with me. So the first thing I noticed is that he was super duper eager to take the treats that you brought for him, which makes sense because they are steak. So you'll see throughout the video, I will offer him a closed hand that has a piece of steak in it and wait him out until he steps back, basically, and stops trying to get the treat. And then once he stops trying to get the treat from my hand, then he can have the treat, and I bring it straight to his mouth. So as soon as he stops trying to get the treat, I say yes, and then I give it to him. This is also good for impulse control, which is, I know, something that you wanted to work on. So I just let him do whatever behavior he thinks is going to get him the treat, and I wait him out. I don't tell him no, or I don't tell him to do something else like sit or lay down. I'm just waiting him out and then giving him the treat when he stops trying to go for it. And I did a little bit of luring in the beginning just to see how good he was at following a treat lure, which was very well. This is a little bit of spatial pressure, or the lack of spatial pressure. So I'm walking backwards, and that's inviting him into my space. And I'm giving him a treat for when he follows me. So building engagement. Treat impulse control. I'm doing it with a closed fist right now because that's a little bit easier for him. But later on in the video, I start holding it in my fingers versus having it fully covered by my hand, which makes it a little bit harder, but looks almost the same, so it's still easy for him to succeed. And also notice that I'm not pulling the treat away from him because I'm not asking him to follow it, and he'll probably think that I'm asking him to do that. I'm just holding it in my hand. This is the introduction to eye contact that I did with him. I don't know if he has like a previous eye contact cue, but this is super basic. I hold a treat out in my hand. Typically the dog stares at it for a long period of time because they're contemplating how to get it. He jumps to try to get it. He thinks that's what I want. It's not. So I wait him out. He gives me eye contact. I should not have thrown it to him right there, but he just caught a treat right before that. So I thought that he would catch it. But ideally, and you'll see me do this a little bit later, is as soon as he makes eye contact with me, I say yes, and then I bring the treat to my face, and then I bring it to him. Because I don't want him to think that as soon as I say yes, he can look away from my eyes. I want him to keep looking at my eyes. He actually has a lot of patience.
Good boy. Good job.
And since that one took him a little bit longer to succeed at, I gave him some good scritches. If you do already have an eye contact cue, let me know. I can start pairing it with this little game. If not, if you have an idea for an eye contact cue, let me know. It'll probably be a few sessions before I start adding it in, but it will be good to know. I also noticed that he really liked chasing the treat, so I tried to utilize that in the training.
Yes, good
It's a whole lot less boring than just handing it to him, and so he's having some more fun.
Yes, good. Good.
This would also probably be a good game to practice yes with, because you just are standing there waiting for the moment that he looks at your face. And then as soon as he does, you say the word yes and then give him that treat.
Yes, good job.
I'm not asking him to place or anything. I'm just gauging how he reacts to me luring him towards these different, like the board and the place bed and the climb. And just rewarding for him engaging with me in a proper manner. So that was some backward spatial pressure. Now this is forward spatial pressure. So I walk towards him, and what I'm looking for is for him to walk back like that. And you can either hand the treat to his face when he does it after you say yes, or you can toss the treat, because the idea is if you toss the treat further back, then next time they'll be more likely to go further back when you walk towards them. So this is the beginning of the second 30-minute session that I did with him, and you can tell he's a little bit more tired. There were a good couple hours in between our sessions, though.
Yes, good job.
So now I'm holding the treat between my fingers versus in a closed hand.
Yes, good.
And he gets it very quickly. He remembered from before. He's really very smart. He picks up things really fast. We're just navigating the space together, luring, stepping on weird stuff. He gave me a wonderful paw target, both front paws.
Good job. Look at you. That was so gentle too.
I will mention that I typically use yes as a marker word, a terminal marker. So yes means you get your treat. So every time I say yes, I give you a treat.
Good.
We worked on down as well. He was actually really good for it. Some of them were a little sideways, but mostly they were straight down.
Down. Good job. Down. Good job. You were so smart.
So I toss a treat out because it's something
Yes,
interesting in the environment. I have to simulate that because I'm in a training center where it is on purpose not very exciting. I let him run around the room and sniff everything before we started working. So I toss a treat as something exciting in the environment. He runs towards it. I don't let him get that far. He turns on the leash pressure. What I'm looking for is for him to turn around, acknowledge me, hopefully come back. He can get a treat that way. At the beginning, he tends to, when he comes back, I have to give him a little bit of a cue to come back. I say, let's go. He does. He gets a treat. And when he comes back and we can walk together towards the treat, he can have it. But if he's pulling me towards the treat, he cannot have it. But if he pulls towards the treat and then turns around and acknowledges me and or comes back, then he can have another treat. So he's not totally losing. He's really not losing much at all. He just has to think through the process. And then he goes back towards the treat. He turns on the leash pressure. He says, that's not right. Maybe if I stare at it. Maybe if I sit. When he gets stuck like that, I will give him a little bit of a verbal cue. So it's working on the let's go command, as well as teaching leash pressure. Because this can be a little bit frustrating for the dog. I like to take a break and give him some good scritches. But I did not see any of the anxiety that the behaviorist was talking about. So it seems like he feels pretty comfy. He was actively engaged the whole time. His tail was wagging most of the time. He followed me around pretty much the whole time versus disengaging. So you can use this exercise with anything that's interesting in the environment. So if he pulls you towards a smell, you can stop in your tracks. Don't let him move towards the smell. For pulling, repeat the process that I'm doing here, depending on how he's responding to it. He gets a treat when he comes back, and then he goes out and pulls again. And you can see he's kind of figuring it out because he's not pulling with the same intensity now. And then we go towards the treat together.
Good job, buddy. You're getting it. Yes, you are.
He got on really fast to this, so I think with some good practice, he'll really start to get it. So he starts trying to sit because he thinks that that is what I'm looking for, and it kind of turns off the leash pressure. But I make sure that the leash pressure stays on because I want him to come towards me. And there he got it. And then he checks in with me, gets another treat, and we walk together to the piece of food. He did not see me toss that one because I was standing in front of him. So I toss another one. And he almost immediately turns around and comes back to me. Hits the end of the leash, comes around immediately, gets another treat. Checks in with me again. Gets another treat. We walk together towards the treats on the floor. Anyways, he did super good today. It was actually really fun to work with him. So I'm excited to keep working with him. If you have any comments, concerns, suggestions, please, of course, let me know. You are welcome to message me at any time.